Hi, I'm Uncle Ned.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Hi, I'm Carla. Hi, I'm Jenny.
Hi, I'm Mr. Baxter.
Hi, I'm Miss Overton.
My name is Ned Greensboro, and I'm an engineering professor here at Central State University. I want to tell you about what happened in the town of Baxford, about how three teenagers, led by my nephew, took a town that had almost given up hope, gave it a new life, and put it on the path to success. Now I'm sure you all heard of the famous Baxford Bats, the best baseball bats in the world, and I'm sure you all know their slogan.
Hey, batter, 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 get a Baxter bat.
That's right. The Baxter Company has been making baseball bats and other sports equipment for many, many years. Almost every adult in Baxter works in one of the departments at the factory, and they expected that their children and grandchildren would too.
I was born in Baxford, and I've lived here my whole life. I go to the plant every day and work with one of my many lads that shake the bats. It's a good, dependable job, and I'm very satisfied with it.
My husband works at the plant as a manager in the packing department, and before I was married, I worked there as a bookkeeper. I fully expect that my two children will get good jobs there too, because there are so many opportunities in a variety of fields.
Everything was going along fine in Baxford, as it always had, when suddenly an unexpected crisis arose. The power for the whole town, including the factory, had always been supplied by a dam on the White River, about 20 miles away. But now there were serious problems.
What can we do? They're saying the dam is unsafe. It is becoming structurally unsound.
Yes, there are cracks in it because it is so old.
It would take far too long to repair. And cost too much.
So the state government is going to shut it down.
Naturally, everyone was very concerned. Hush conversations were heard all over town.
If there's no power, there won't be any way we can light our homes or cook or keep our food fresh. And what will happen to our families?
If there's no power, the machines at the plant won't work, and the whole factory will have to shut down. And what will happen to our jobs then?
Will we need to move away?
Will we need to hunt for new jobs that would take us who knows where? If we can even find any that is.
I don't need to tell you how worried and upset everyone who lives in Baxford was. You can imagine how you would feel if something like that was happening in your town. Even the adults felt like the situation was beyond fixing. The young people at Baxford refused to accept that the community they knew was headed toward non-existence.
We can't just let our parents give up and tell us we'll have to move away and find somewhere else to live. We can't let them lose the jobs they've worked so hard at all these years.
Yeah, and besides, I don't want to go away where I don't know anyone and have to find new friends. I like the friends I already have.
I don't want to move either, that's for sure. I always planned on working at Baxford plant as an industrial designer after college, and that's still my ideal career.
There's got to be an answer to this problem.
If there will be no more power from the dam and it costs too much to pay for power from other areas of the state, then someone has to be able to come up with a solution.
Maybe it will be us. We learned about some alternate sources in science last year. I wonder if anybody has looked into solar energy or maybe even wind energy.
Well, my dad told me that at first our town had a special team to check that out, but they couldn't agree on anything. Everyone was arguing too much to really get anything done.
The newspaper says that other forms of energy are too impractical, whatever that means.
The TV reporters all say this particular reason isn't right for those sources. Does anyone know what that means? Are they saying it could be never right? Can anything be done to make it right?
I'm tired of what everyone says. The way they go on and on when they don't even know what they're talking about. You know what? I'd rather do something about it.
Like what? What can we do? Even if we could come up with a really awesome idea, nobody will listen to a bunch of teenagers.
If we develop some sort of workable plan to go with our ideas, some people are bound to at least take a closer look.
Like who?
Well, like my uncle.
Oh, right. Your uncle is some sort of wacky scientist, isn't he?
Yeah, I remember now. He works in the engineering department out at the university, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really loves innovation and helping students learn how to find their own solutions.
I heard that the whole engineering department shaved half their heads in protest and when the astronomy department announced that Pluto was no longer a planet.
No way!
And I also heard that the engineers spoke Klingon when they welcomed the president of the university.
Really?
Yeah, Uncle Ned told me that one time he and some of his friends even snuck into the science museum at night and dressed all the dinosaur replicas in lab coats and glasses.
That's hilarious.
It's like I said, they're all really wacky.
So, these teens think I'm a little weird, but I prefer the term eccentric to wacky. It's more scientific. I'm sure by now you probably made the connection between me and these kids. That's right. I'm Chris, Uncle Ned, the wacky engineer. And by the way, it took a very long time for my hair to grow back after that stunt.
So everyone, I emailed my Uncle Ned about our problem, and I think he could be a big help. He and his co-workers actually do come up with ideas and solutions to real problems. I mean, that is their job.
That's my nephew. Yes, the basis of engineering is ideas. And Chris and his friends were on the right track to some really good ones. All they needed to do was convince the adults to support them.
What we need is somebody who can come up with some ideas and lay out a solid plan for what we can do.
Yes, but right now, everyone is so distressed that they can't think straight. Where are these wonderful ideas supposed to come from?
From us, that's who.
From who?
From the young people.
Yeah, we won't accept the idea that nothing can be done.
From us!
Great. I can't wait to hear the ideas you come up with.
Yeah, it would sure make me feel better to know that someone's trying to deal with this problem, but let's not get our hopes up too much.
So Chris emailed me and told me how worried everyone was in Baxter and that nobody seemed to know what to do about the problem. He also told me that he and his friends were determined to do something positive in spite of the negative attitude of most of the adults. So I emailed him back and asked him what he thought might be the first step in solving their problem.
Well, since our old electricity source, the dam, will no longer be available, we need to research alternate forms of energy.
Research, read all about it. Research, read all about it. Now, he is a pretty bright boy. I like to think he takes after me, and he was already thinking like an engineer, because indeed, research is the starting point on any science project, and that includes engineering. And I told him just that in my response.
Our first step should be to go online and get all the information we possibly can.
Okay, but there must be a million websites. How will we look at them all?
There's bound to be a lot of repeat information, so we'll just have to be selective.
But how?
He said to just gather information right now. That's the first step. And after that, we need to work together to narrow it down.
Research.
You've been on the computer for hours. What are you looking up?
I'm trying to learn about types of power. If we find out how we can use another power supply, the plant won't have to close down at all.
It's great that you're so optimistic, but we will just have to see. It's pretty well settled that I'll soon be out of a job. Nobody really knows what to do from here.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. Figure out what to do from here. We just want to make sure we aren't missing anything that might possibly help us before just giving up.
Research, soda, caffeine. More research, more soda, more caffeine.
I understand that you and your friends don't want to move away, but I'm worried that you are putting too much effort into this research. Things like solar power and wind power sound exciting, but I'm afraid you'll be so disappointed when it doesn't work out.
Maybe so, but doing this is sure better than just sitting around and being miserable. Then we would always wonder if something could have been done if we had just focused on innovation. Aren't you the one that always told me that anything is possible if you put your mind to it?
True, but the reality is things are pretty hopeless at this point. It still seems to me like you could find a better use for your time, but helping prepare for the changes we have ahead of us.
Research some more. Sleep, enough sleep. Research more soda,
more
caffeine. Gotta keep going. Now you may be wondering why the kids are so determined to find a solution while it seems that the adults have all but given up. These three kids are very special people. They have always been strong-willed and determined. Growing up in Baxter, they were brought up in a community that was very, well, how should I put this, set in its ways.
We've always known Batsford is our home and thought it always would be.
Just like our parents before us.
The adults were content with their comfortable, predictable life and never imagined that something on this scale could happen to disrupt their happy little town. Because of this, they were never taught to think outside the box, or outside the Baxter box, if you will.
Nor were we given the tools and responses to do so.
Our children, however, well, they love Batford just as much as the next person.
But they also know that they are the future and need to make opportunities for themselves, which is where I come in, a professor of engineering. I make a living off of coming up with solutions to problems, and I couldn't be more proud of these three bright kids for being willing to make matters into their own hands. Now, Chris was keeping me up to date through email and let me know that they were planning to regroup the next morning at Carla's house.
Wow. When you said that, there were probably a million websites. You weren't kidding. I found all kinds of facts and pictures, but most of it is difficult to understand.
Step 1, research, done. For now. Step 2, regroup, reorganize, narrow it down, explain, soda, caffeine. It looks like wind and solar power are the two forms of energy we should be looking at.
Good work. Now, what we need to do is get organized. I think we should divide up the research.
I will take wind energy.
I'll do solar power.
Okay, great. Then I'll put all of the information in order and try to simplify and compare it.
This will be much better. This way, we won't all be sifting through the same stuff, and will be experts in our own areas.
While they were doing all of this, the teenagers came across all kinds of interesting information. Did you know that when you have a whole lot of windmills set up in one spot, it's called a wind farm? Look at this picture. Look how neat it is. Is that?
Hey, did you know that wind or solar power can be used to transform into the same electricity we've always been using? I always thought they were separate things.
Well, duh. Energy always has to come from somewhere.
It's just like how the dam gave us power from the motion of water, and the fossil fuels are burned to create that same power.
So now matter where it comes from. Electricity can be sent where it needs to go.
Right. In fact, the plant in the whole town of Batford could run on transferred electricity from solar or wind power.
Once they got all the materials together, they composed a large chart with facts about the two different energy sources.
Okay, look at this. We listed the positive facts on the right side of the chart and the negative facts on the left side. Facts that are good for both of them are in the middle of the column.
I see for now, they're both clean energy sources, and neither of them can ever be used up.
Right, not like fossil fuel sources, which produce pollution and are expendable.
Wow, look how smart we are getting it with all these big words.
We should all be impressed with ourselves.
I couldn't help overhearing your kids talking. So you think that you're making some real progress, huh? Yeah, but we need to keep focusing. Look at these negative things about wind energy.
Let's see. It says the windmills can be very noisy.
So that's why they usually built far from where a lot of people live.
Plus there's not too very attractive, and birds might fly into them accidentally and be killed.
Also, winds are intermittent. In other words, they don't blow at all the time.
And these windmills are big. I mean big, hundreds of feet high. And the ground areas each one takes up is larger than a football field.
Well, this all sounds a little complicated for me. I'll let you get back to it.
Thanks, Mom. What are the negative things about solar energy? I don't see much in the solar in that column.
Well, almost everything is positive.
The sun isn't always shining, but it can be stored.
Of course, the best time to collect energy is around noon on a sunny day.
So the desert is going to be a better place to build them.
Well, I don't see any desert around here. So can that actually work for us?
That's just it. Solar energy can be collected in one place and used in another. It's pretty cool.
Wait until you hear this. All the energy stored up in the Earth's reserve of coal, oil, and natural gas is equal to the energy produced by just 20 days of sunshine.
What does that mean?
It means that if scientists and engineers can develop technology to better harness all that power, we could collect enough to prevent us from ever needing fossil fuel again.
So solar power shows a lot of promise.
How cool is that?
I also like to part mentioned here about the federal government providing funding to help build solar energy plants.
Well, I think all that gives us a pretty clear picture of the right direction to proceed. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
It seems like an easy answer now. Now all the information we had to search for wasn't a lot of work. Step 2. Narrow it down, organize, present information, argue, discuss, argue some more, discuss some more, done. Step 3, decision time. Don't forget the soda caffeine.
Well, now we know. It's solar energy by a mile.
If a solar plant could be built and the government would fund it, we'd be able to keep everything here the way it's always been.
No one would lose their jobs. No one would need to leave Batford, and we could stay right here where we want to be.
Chris sent me an email immediately to tell me what they had discovered, while the other kids start talking up to their parents, and word spread around quickly through the town about the positive information they had found.
You think we could actually obtain solar power and I could keep working at my job? If that's the case, thank your Uncle Ned for inspiring all of you kids.
You mean our family wouldn't have to leave everything we know and find another place to live? That is more than I dared to hope for.
I think we can all agree on that. I just hope it is realistic.
We really believe it's impossible.
Our research shows it makes sense. The only thing we have to do now is to build a solar plant.
Oh, is that all?
And who is going to fund this project?
Uncle Ned said before we even think about funding, we need to come up with a presentation for the government, and that includes funding a location for the plant.
Research, read all about it. Narrow it down, explain, make a decision. Obviously, planning a solar energy plant could be a giant project for kids in high school, but I told Chris that I'd back him up and his friends all the way. If none of the adults in town were going to be supportive, at least they could come to me for help. I got some of the other professors at the university interested in the technical side of the project, and they volunteered to give their time and energy to get things going. And they even gave the kids suggestions on what to look for in choosing possible sites for the plant.
Step 3.
Done. Sleep, wake up. Step 4, take action.
So this plant be located? Any suggestions?
Well, it's got to be a big piece of land on level ground that's fairly clear on trees and brush.
And if possible, it should be already developed.
It has to have buildings already.
No,
The land just needs to be graded with some kind of improvement on to the ground.
Let's ask your parents if there is anything here like that.
Good idea. Maybe they'll know of a place that has the qualities we're looking for.
Drink some more caffeine, power up, time for more research, ask around, get some answers.
Come to think of it, years again, when we were just kids, wasn't there some kind of military base out beyond Old Turnpike Road?
Yes, as I recall, they used to have an annual ball game between Batsford and the best players from the base.
There was an annual picnic too in the park.
Right! Whatever happened to the base?
I don't know. I haven't been out that way in ages.
I remember that they put a big chain link fence around it all and just left it to fall apart.
The kids rode their bikes out to the abandoned base to see what still was there and found that the area was badly overgrown. But mostly importantly, the ground had been leveled and they could see the cement slabs of the building that had once stood.
Who do you think owns all of this now?
The government?
The military?
Whoever it is, are they ever going to use it again?
Would they give it to the town or maybe sell it to the town?
Who can we ask to find out?
Research
successful. Picture it, plan it, engineer it out. Picture it, plan it, engineer it out.
Chris emailed me again, very excited about what they had found. It wanted me to make inquiries about the old base, which I gladly did. However, I got some very frustrating results. It seemed that it was owned by the government and which means forever, and it would never be available for private ownership. I broke the news to Chris when I emailed him back.
Perpetuity?
What a bummer.
Just when we thought we had things figured out.
I guess it's back to brainstorming.
Step 5, deep breath. More soda, more caffeine, less sleep, test it, no go, test again, test again. Naturally, the kids were very disappointed, but they didn't let this stop them. They kept right on searching for other possible locations, bicycling all over the back roads after school and on weekends, but finding new prospects. And then Jenny emailed me with a very interesting thought. If the government won't give over the old army base for private use, why can't they turn it into a solar energy plant and control it, like the Tennessee Valley Authority back in the 1930s? We studied about that in U.S. history. Very smart girl, huh? I told her I'd look into it, and my friends at the university got interested in this new angle of the problem and helped out once again. They talked to the layers and gathered various opinions and took it to the state level and then federal level. Very quickly, more and more people wanted to get involved.
Wow. Our kids are really sticking
With this project. I'm impressed we might not lose our jobs after all.
Who would have thought what they started would go all the way to the federal government? We could stay here after all.
I think we need to get behind the kids and support them. Let's start thinking positive for a change.
Yes, we have doubted them for so long enough, we could all start writing or contacting our state representative to help push their ideas.
Step 6. Keep working. Gain support. Almost there. Engineer it out.
We finally convinced our parents that the situation wasn't hopeless. We were able to contact the right people thanks to Uncle Ned, and they think our idea.
My idea.
She's right. Girls rule. It was Jenny's idea about having the government develop the land that is going to pull this all together.
Okay, let's be fair. It was Chris' idea to try to solve the power problem, and Carla was the first one to have his back. We all worked hard to get where we are.
Well, anyway, it is completely plausible to convert the old military base area to an energy producing plant that would be backed by the government.
But it won't happen right away, will it?
No, it won't. After all, Chris and Uncle keeps emphasizing how engineering is a slow, steady process.
Well, guess what? Uncle Ned heard from the owners of the factory, and they've agreed to pay to import electricity from upstate until the old base can be converted.
What? I thought when we first heard about the dam being shut down, they said they wouldn't pay for that.
Not on a permanent basis.
Yeah, but now they know it is temporary, they agreed to do it.
So that means that all our hard work paid off?
How about that? Now my nephew and his friends are now engineers. They are too young to study engineering in college because they are just teenagers who haven't even finished high school yet. But they applied their principles of engineering to solve the problem of finding an alternate source of energy to solve their town. That weekend, I took the kids and their parents out for celebratory ice cream.
I feel like you kids have grown up so much through all this.
We're all really impressed. How did you know how to go about this?
Uncle Ned helped us through the engineering process. We recognized the fact that there was a problem and that our town and life as we knew it would change radically if something wasn't done.
We researched alternate choices and decided that solar energy was the best new source.
Step 1, research, read all about it. Step 2, narrow it down.
Explain.
It was our dreams that finally saved Batsford.
That's right. Engineers have big imaginations.
The biggest. Step 3, make decisions. Step 4, take action.
And when we were blocked from achieving our goal, we approached it from a different angle. Step 5, test, no go, test again.
Exactly. That was your equivalent on the engineering principle of test and reset.
Step 6,
engineer it out.
Engineer it out.
Remember that the whole engineering process begins with an idea. That picture that you have in your mind is the seed that eventually grows in reality. Picture it, research, plan it, action, test, no go, change it, research.
Got this.
Success, engineer it out.
Well,
Ned, you helped plant the seed.
And we can't thank you enough for that. They're so lucky to have you as a role model. After that you have to make plans about how to make your idea solid so that you can develop and grow.
Then you have to actually build something relying on those plans you made.
But remember, moving on to testing what you built doesn't mean that you will be successful on the first try. Once you test something, you usually find that it needs changes, and you have to be willing to continue to make these changes again and again until you have a workable result. Engineers will go through all these processes in order to achieve success. So now what? That we have understand that way things work. Let's all cheer. Picture it, research, plan it, action, test, no go, change it, retest. Got this, success, engineer it out.
The end.
End.